Hey everyone, and welcome back. Our last guest is a Puerto Rican writer from Bushwick that usually dances in the hybrid forms of fiction and poetry. She is the recipient of the Bronx Council of the Arts First Chapter Award and has performed in places such as Museo del Barrio, New York Poets Cafe, and La Respuesta in Puerto Rico. She's either reciting speeches by Puerto Rican revolutionaries or moving to songs of resistance. Currently, she teaches creative writing to students across New York City public schools with Teachers and Writers Collaborative and other organizations. And she's here to share more. Please welcome my longtime friend, Alba Delia Hernández. Hello.
Hello, Rhina. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. I gotta say though, I just want to share with our viewers, at the end, I'm gonna encourage them to visit your Instagram, but I gotta say, throughout the pandemic, you have been such a treat for me, watching you just dancing up on your roof, of course, to resistance songs, with your bomba skirt, and just being free during a time that we were restricted and limited. That was it was such a light in my day. So thank you for that.
I was happy to do that. Oh my God, it was survival for me as well to be up there and to be dancing and reciting Pedro Albizu Campos.
Yeah, and of course, you and I, we used to go to the clubs and dance. So I'm like, oh, let me go see how my girl Alba's up there doing her thing. And of course, making sure that you're educating the next generation with regards to our Puerto Rican heritage. And I adore you for that. You are definitely on the front lines of that. And I also understand that you just recently got published in the Tribe magazine with a short story called The Messenger, which I enjoyed very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Juicy Fruit. Goddess power is golden.
I'm so happy you read that.
Yeah. You know what I think about your style? That I can tell it's part biographical mixed with like magic. Yeah, you could tell that it was like kind of like, oh, this may have been an experience that she may have experienced, or maybe not, or maybe I'm always in there reading, trying to figure out what character is you, and or if all three of them, right? Because the three main characters of that particular story were all leads, the leading women, we'll say.
Yes.
And so that brings me to your work and just the way you dance in it. Physically and metaphorically. Let's talk about it.
Well, I consider myself a writer, an artist, and I don't like pigeonholing myself as to whether I'm a poet or whether I'm a fiction writer, even though I think I'm a stronger fiction writer than I am a poet. But I also like art to be expressed in whatever way I can, and that could take dances on the roof. It could take memorizing Pedro Albizu Campos speeches. And I think that, like, with the reality and the magic, right? So The Messenger is, this based on reality about these three teenagers growing up in Bushwick, right? And the meet true at 3 and the fight that happens at 3. But I also didn't want that fight scene at the end where the girls are hurting each other and stuff. Like, I didn't want that. What I wanted, the magic came in because one of the characters, Edith, she has a front row seat to the table of elements in her chemistry class. And it's that seat and that attention to science that got her to win the fight, without a physical fight, which I purposely avoided. So.
Yeah, no, and I get it. And because I know you personally, the point is like, it's like fighting or resisting, fighting with the resistance, if that even made any sense, right? Because it's like using the resistance as a means of fighting.
yes, using the resistance as a means of fighting. I like that. Yes. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's, you know, what you do on the roof, right? And I mean, not that she's always just performing on the roof. She performs at venues as well. And she's also a teacher. But for the past year, she's been my highlight of the pandemic, just watching her explore on the roof. And it's been quite lovely. Just how have you been navigating through that, especially now that it's Puerto Rican Heritage Month?
I would say that you know, everybody evolves, right? And everybody grows. And I think my writing has evolved to the point where I love to create stories. I love to create characters. And at the same time, the more I learn about our history, about Puerto Rican history, about Pedro Albizu Campos, about the young lords, I feel, I feel this desire, this want to incorporate some of that or a lot of that into my writing. So it's also a way of spreading Puerto Rican history within the characters that I create. And yeah. And I'm working on a novel right now. I'm working on a novel where the characters I had already created a couple of years ago, but now I'm using those characters and interweaving the young lords in it. And I'm really excited about it. I feel really pressured because I better do this right and I better get it right. So I'm doing my research on the movement. But yeah, anyway, maybe I
so no, it's good. So when should we look forward to it? Does it have a title yet?
It does not have a title, but it is based on Bushwick in the 1970s. Early 1970s, and you know, a lot of the characters are based on family members, you know, people in our community, and it is during the time, like I was born during the time the young lords were like forming themselves,
right?
And so what so I'm taking those characters and bringing in, like right now, the chapter that I'm working on has to do with healthcare. So there are characters in the story that are under the conditions that the young lords were fighting against and fighting to serve. So.
Right. I get it. You know, health is a universal matter and it's a human right. So I get it. And that's what they were fighting for. And it's wonderful that you're incorporating it in your work so that people can just research further, because that's how it all starts. That's how you're passing it forward. Bueno, mamita, I know you're going to perform for us. So I'm going to let you go get ready because, you know, you got to make your way to the roof. Alba Delia Hernández, everyone. All right, check this out. Don't go anywhere because when we return, Alba is going to perform a special piece for us. So don't go anywhere.